Hey guys, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? That's right. It's time for Against the Wall. Here we go. So we're looking in the book of 1 Samuel again this week, 25, and we want to look at verse 16. And I'm going to read it to you. It goes like this. They were a wall to us both, by night and day, all the time when we were with them, keeping the sheep. So this is a story of Nabal and his wife. And what happens is David is trying to flee from Saul, and they had a good relationship with Nabal, and they offered protection for him, for his sheep, and for the shepherds. David was a shepherd, so he protected shepherds. And the thing is, now it's time for the feast. It's time for the celebration. David had taken care of Nabal and his family and his household and all his possessions in the past, keeping watch over his flock, keeping them all protected. And David just goes and says, hey, can we get a little food? Can we get a little supplies from you? And Nabal writes him off. I don't know who you are. He doesn't care. He wants to claim him as a runaway, like so many from Saul. And what we see here in this verse, when it says that they were a wall to us both by night and day, this is metaphorically just a protection. See, the thing about it is, he sent his men and he said, hey, go ask for these things from Nabal. We've always been there for him. He just assumed that he would be there for them when David needed it. Well, the problem is, he gets there and Nabal writes him off. He has no use for David. And so David, he gets a little upset. When I say a little upset, he sends a few hundred men to destroy Nabal and everything. Well, Nabal's wife, she starts talking to the shepherds. They're like, hey, look, David came and we were good to him. His guys are good to us. But when they asked, your husband's like, no, get out of here. And so she realized, man, this ain't smart. So she runs, she meets David. She's like, forgive my husband for what he did, don't harm him. And here's some stuff. She takes supplies, she gives it to him. And David's okay with that. But he's like, God's going to take care of Nabal. And eventually he does. Nabal dies. And David marries his wife. Because, hey, what's better than another wife, right? Anyway, that's a different lesson. So what we see here is this metaphorical wall, this ideal of a protection. Sometimes walls can be two ways. They're protecting us, but they're also protecting other people. It's a shared protection. When David's men were with the shepherd, they were protection. They were protecting the shepherds and the sheep, but at the same time, those men were helping to protect David's men. It was a joint protection back and forth, a watching over each other, a caring for each other. Sometimes that sturdy wall behind you can simply be help and protection from the other side. So think about it like this. Sometimes our friends, they're there to protect us. Sometimes our friends that we're working with, it can be your family, it can be your church family. Those are people who are a wall for us. They're a protection, while at the same time, we're going to do everything to protect them. Think about it. You want to protect your family, and at the same time, you want your family to be there to help protect you. Same way with your friends, same way with, it could be anybody in your life. And so that's the idea of what we're talking about when we say wall this week. It's the idea of a joint protection that's shared. David had that with those guys. Those guys had that with David. Now, just because it wasn't always looked at like that by everybody, we see, though, in the end, it worked out for all. So, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time,